everyone. This is Mike.
And this is Josh.
And this is Must See Before You Die. Let's both say it at the same time together.
Yes, this is Must See Before You Die. Man,
my timing is always
I don't know
off.
what to say, Mike? We got a Christmas tree behind us. 'Tis the season with Josh. I don't know what's going on.
It's Krampus time.
So, yeah, the movie we are doing today is 2015's Krampus. And this movie is a favorite of mine. I actually saw this movie in the theater.
Wow.
And it was great. Mike, were you lucky enough to see this movie in the theater?
No, I wasn't. But if it came back out again at this time of year, I would go see it in the theater.
It was under your radar, huh? When it first came out?
Yeah, I mean, this came out in 15, right? 2016, 2015. I've been watching it about the last 4 years, so yeah, it's a little bit behind on me.
Okay, yeah, well, yeah, I just saw it, and I knew the hype of it was same director and writer of Trick or Treat, so I was like, I gotta see this. Like, I gotta see this movie.
Usually my son and I watch this every Christmas night, but this year we watched it a couple weeks early, so we'll probably still watch it Christmas night as well.
Yeah, it's great. It is really good. I love the message behind this movie and different things. So I guess we'll just get right into it.
Yeah, let's go.
I feel like the whole message of this movie is like greed, forgetting what Christmas means, giving, and it's all about me, taking and arguing and not getting along with people and all that stuff. It's all of that is forgotten. Because the movie starts out, which I really like the beginning of this movie, Mike, starts out with people bum rushing a mall or a store and trying to get the gifts. And these people are straight out fighting, punching, and everything. Mike, right, Mike?
I love it. It's beginning, and the song is it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
Yes.
And I love the way they use the slow motion.
Yep.
Going on. And there's a lot of things if you look behind the scenes of what's going on, because that's a key part of the movie that if you watch it and don't pay attention, you'll miss a lot of little Easter eggs in that.
Sure.
I mean, like just stuff going on back behind the scenes. And if you focus on one thing, there's something else going on over here. So
right.
I love it. I love the beginning of it.
It rewards you for multiple viewings, just like Trick or Treat does.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This one to less of less of course, but still definitely rewards you for multiple viewings. And then you kind of go to this one area where they're putting on a Christmas play of some kind. I don't know what. And two kids are getting into a fight over something you don't know. They're punching each other and the parents pull them apart. And then that's how the beginning starts, right, Mike?
Yep. Love it.
Yeah, I love the beginning. I think it sets the tone great for the movie because you're like, whoa, this is nuts. Like, like this is Christmas, huh? And it's true though. It's true to life. That's why it starts it off really good. But you meet a family, and it's the mom, a dad, a daughter, a boy, a son, and the mom's name is Sarah. The dad's name's Tom. I lost the sister's name here. If you know it, I don't remember it.
I don't remember off the top of my head. I'm bad about names anyway. I just remember Max and Ami.
Right. Max is the son, and there's a grandma in the family of the father, and she's like a German lady, I think. Is it Germany or something like that? And her name's Ami. And yeah, so they kind of started off hot that this family's like having another family over, like relatives, and it's all kind of like we're trying to make our house look the best, we're trying to do all this and put on a show almost, like a facade, like we want these people here, but you don't really, right, Mike?
Yeah, I mean the whole family's complaining about them, the Max, the son, and then the daughter's complaining about them, and I think the daughter even makes a comment that she found poop in her bed the previous year. And the mother's like, oh, that was the dog, that's not their fault. And
right.
They start talking.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Mike.
They start, making jokes on the family. Kind of reminds me of Christmas Story in a little bit, Christmas Vacation. I mean, where you got, Chevy Chase's family, and then cousin Eddie comes in. It reminds me a little bit of that, where you got this nice, wholesome family, and then all of a sudden the country rednecks, hillbillies start coming in and taking over.
Yep, country bumpkins. So So the boy is kind of like in between of believing in Santa or not believing in Santa. And, but he still tends to believe in Santa, but there's still that doubt there because these kids were being mean to him and telling him at school that they weren't. Or he said, "Oh, that's why he got into a fight during the play because the kid was telling some other kid there wasn't a Santa,
Right.
and he got after him." Well, that's what he said anyway. But I think he was getting teased about it, so he stuck up for himself because that's what he kind of made like a face, like, "Yeah, I was sticking up for these kids," but I think he wasn't really. They were just teasing him, and he said, "To heck with you," and but yeah, so his grandma said, I think it's his grandma, right? Tells him, you need to still write this letter to Santa. It's important. And
Yeah,
it
because
is very
you find
important,
out,
Mike.
Yeah, you find out later on what he all says in it, and it is very important. It's important for the whole family.
Yeah, it is. So the other family comes in, what you learn is the sister of the mom and her husband and their family, they have two daughters who are very tomboyish. They have a son who, I don't know. Yeah. He's just like a starer. I don't know how to describe him. But like his dad wants him to be a football player. I don't know. And then they have the aunt. They pick up their aunt on their mom's side of the family, who is quite funny, if I do say so.
She's hilarious. She makes she's one of the best characters in the movie.
What is the aunt's name?
Dorothy.
Mike.
Dorothy.
Yeah, she is really funny. And then they come in and they're like, "Oh yeah, we forgot a kid," so they had to go back out to the car and get their baby. So they have a baby as well. They have a bunch of kids, 4 kids, and and you can tell right off the bat that the family has some tension there. Like, I mean, we already know that, but when they meet them, you can tell. You can definitely tell that Howard doesn't think much of the dad of Tom. You can tell that right away. Howard's the dad of the I don't know what I'm not gonna say hillbilly family because that's not. I'll just say
country. They're just country.
Yeah, country.
Like really
family.
Country.
Right, and so yeah, you can tell that they don't get along, and that the kids don't really get along either because his kids actually pick on the main family's kid. Well, the boy, not the daughter, because she's like she's already like 16, 17.
Yeah, she's
just like, just get along with him. Who cares,
right.
or whatever. So yeah, so after that, Mike, what happens next with the family?
Well, they're talking back and forth, and then and they're picking on Max the two tomboyish girls start really picking on Max, and they're talking about reindeers and killing the reindeers, and Santa's sleigh had a wreck, and then but they had stolen, they saw it earlier, they had stolen the letter that Max did finish. He did write the letter. He finished the letter. And they saw that earlier as soon as they came in the door that it was in his back pocket or his coat pocket or something. So they stole that. So in the midst of them arguing and stuff like that, all of a sudden the mother is out of the room and the rest of the families are all in there. She's in the kitchen still. And then one of the daughters starts reading Max's letter. And it's
a really heartfelt letter.
It is. I mean, he's like talking about he wants his mom and dad
to love each other
like they used to.
Yeah.
Never says they don't love each other. Just said, I want them to love each other like they used to. And then the girl kind of
wants to hang out with his sister, like have a relationship with his sister like he used to.
So then you hear those first two things, you're like, oh, this is a really heartfelt letter. And then he starts talking about the family that came in and saying that, hey, he wants things to be better for them.
Right. And how he wants Christmases to be the way they used to be. Right. Like when they were all nice and it wasn't all this bull crap and stuff. And he even said, like, I hope Uncle Howard something about his job or something so he can provide more for the family, because evidently they don't have a lot either. I mean,
he must have said something to the effect too that he wishes Uncle Howard would treat the girls like girls and not, because the girl makes a comment. She says, he really doesn't want to have two more boys or something.
Right.
So that's the one thing that was kind of said in there that was, that was not maybe the nicest, but it really was a heartfelt letter.
Yeah. And so he grabs it, or he gets into a fight with
Well, they get in a big fight again.
He grabs it and he runs off to his bedroom, I'm pretty sure, and he's crying up there or whatever, and he rips up the letter.
Well, you think he's going, I'm not going to get too granular with this because this could last an hour and a half. You think he's going to, because the grandmother told him he should still mail it off.
Right.
Earlier, she said, "Hey, you got to mail this off." So he opens the envelope, and I think he licks it or folds it up and act like he's going to put it back in there. And then all of a sudden he gets like this thought hits his mind, and he opens it up again and runs to his door, opens his door, tears it into a million pieces, and then just slings it out the window.
Yeah.
And it starts going up in the air.
Yep. And I think a key point of this movie, what I think, this is my opinion, as soon as he throws that letter, like you just see the scenery kind of changes slightly. And to me, I mean, this is for the end of the movie, so of course this is spoilers. Of course, this whole thing spoilers. To me, I feel that the whole neighborhood in the surrounding area of that family is encased in a snow globe at that second. Like that's like their fate.
He makes a comment. That's a great point, Josh. And maybe I never really thought of it that way.
Well, their fate's sealed right there, Mike. It's sealed.
He makes a comment before he runs upstairs. The whole family's around the table. He grabs the letter, and his exact words were, "I hate Christmas and all of you."
Right.
So he didn't believe in Christmas anymore. He hated Christmas.
Right.
And that's kind of the background of Krampus.
Right. And as soon as he did that, his fate was sealed, and the whole family's fate was sealed. No matter if he would have said, "I love Christmas, I love Christmas," it don't matter. You already did it, and it's already done. It's already sealed. So that's how I feel about it. Now I didn't think that way when I first watched it, but after several viewings, I feel that way about the movie. And I like that actually, like basically, there is no happy ending for this family. In my opinion, that's what this movie sets out to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like once it's done, it's done. There's no redemption.
Well, the grandmother earlier had also made a comment, St. Nicholas is what you make of it. You have to believe in the true spirit of Christmas. When she was talking to Max about that,
right.
She had also kind of preluded to that earlier.
Right. And so he rips that letter up. And then the snow just starts coming down. I mean, this snow is relentless. It just is coming down, big storm. If I remember right, they don't have power. They lose their power. They lose, all power and stuff like that. Their cell phones are not working because of the storm, they think. And I think that's another reason I feel like they lost power and have no cell service or none of that is because they're stuck in this globe, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, it makes, I never really thought of it that way, but yeah, it kind of makes sense.
You're right. So
then the girlfriend's worried about her boyfriend because the boyfriend and her earlier, he was wanting to come over, I think, and kind of mess around or hook up, see her or whatever. So then the storm's coming down real bad. So I don't know how she talked her parents into allowing her to leave the house in this storm to go see her boyfriend. He's
like 3 or 4 houses down the road.
Yeah, that says 4 blocks away.
Right.
But still, she went to try to see her boyfriend to make sure he was okay and his cell phone wasn't working. And
right. So right at this time, a delivery guy shows up from like DHL, and he signs for a package and stuff, and he gives him a package, and the sister-in-law and the brother-in-law are there to greet him. And they're like, "Hey, what's this other package here?" And he's like, "I don't know. It must be from the UPS or whatever." And the brother-in-law grabs it, and it's like a huge bag full of stuff. And he's like, "How are they getting free stuff?" Or she goes, the wife goes, "How are they getting free stuff?" And he goes, "I don't know. They're Democrats." I thought that was funny because like they're like, country people. So they think it's all free given to people and stuff. But I thought that was a funny part. But turns out this bag is not anything from UPS. But so that happens, and the daughter is running or is walking down the road, and all of a sudden she's looking and she's noticing every house is dark and totally iced over, like it's been abandoned forever and there's been no heat in them for a long time because they're iced over like thick icicles everywhere, right, Mike?
Yep.
And she's like, what the heck? And then she looks up on top of the roof. And what does she see, Mike? What we get our first glimpse of, Mike?
You got Krampus,
And
whatever you want to call it.
And it is a awesome sight, in my opinion.
Yep. He's jumping from house to house on the very top, and you can tell you it's on its back legs. It's like some kind of hoof type thing. It looks pretty scary.
Oh man, it's awesome, and it's got this big cloak on it, like almost looks like Santa Claus's outfit in a way. And she's running, screaming, yelling, and she finds that DHL truck just sitting in the middle of the road, and she's like, oh, she goes to look in the door. The guy's like, froze to death. Yeah, froze to death. Don't forget that. He's dead. He never made it out. So, yeah.
It's really the first victim.
Huh? Yeah. Yeah.
It's really the first victim.
She gets underneath the DHL truck, and and he's like all around and stuff. She hears the chains and the bells on him. And that's the creepy part, that he's got these bells on him. It's like, and all of a sudden she looks over and she sees a little Jack in the Box, and it's going din, 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 or making a noise, and then it pops open, and all of a sudden you don't see anything, and you're like, what? And then all of a sudden it peeks its little head out of this box, and then all of a sudden it jumps towards her. You don't see that though, and then she's just screaming and the whole van's shaking. Yep. And she's gone. She's gotten, right, Mike? Yep,
she's history. She is gone.
Yep, and that's the sister of Max, the main guy. So what happens after that, Mike?
So then the dad and the uncle, they talk to the rest of the family, and they decide they're going to go out looking for Max's sister. Of course, there's some other things going on, in the house, and some other things here and there.
I laugh because the dad Tom goes to Howard. He goes, do you think that Hummer can make it down the road? He goes, if I put that thing in drive and hit the gas, I can get all the way to blah, blah, blah. Real arrogant about his vehicle, like how people are about their big lifted trucks and stuff. But, he's like that. But his isn't a truck or anything. His is a Hummer, which is like, well, if he's having a hard time buying stuff and stuff, why does he have a freaking jacked up Hummer or whatever? Like, okay, whatever. But
so one thing I got a note here. So while they're out looking for the daughter, there's a lot of stuff going on, but they cut back to the house at some point, and inside the house, they even hear something on top of the house.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, what is that? What is that? And then Aunt Dorothy says, it's probably a bunch of squirrels up there playing with their nuts.
Yeah. Well, you know what that is, Mike? They took that Krampus bag upstairs, and that's the toys like moving around in their boxes and stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, so the dad and Tom and Howard go out looking for the daughter. They drive up. I mean, this stuff is coming down where you can't hardly see anything, right, Mike?
Yeah.
And they come upon a snowplow in the road, and they're like, what the heck? Because they see a light. And they come upon it, and they're looking in it, and they're like, oh, the keys are still in it, and the light's flashing. And they notice that the windshield on it's broken. They're like, oh, the guy must have hit something, and he flew out of it. And Tom goes, no, Howard, that glass is going inward. Something broke into his vehicle through the windshield.
Yep.
So they're like, oh, crap. And they leave that, and they go see, and they note, and then they look, and they see the boyfriend's house. So like, okay, this thing is looking deserted, whatever. They go in there, and the house has been totally destroyed.
Yeah.
And it's like it's been abandoned for well, it looks like it's been abandoned for a long time.
Yeah.
And then the one thing you got to pay attention to when they go in there and they look at the fireplace, it's like the fireplace had like something just dropped down the chimney that was big, and it had a huge crack all the way up it from the outside.
Yep.
And so they're like, okay, blah, blah, blah. And then they go into the kitchen, and they notice they see a gingerbread cookie on the fridge with a knife through it. And they're like,
Mm.
what the heck? You know? And
Yeah,
then they're like,
Howard's like, whoever did this is just sick or sick and demented or something. I don't know. Some kind of
so,
comment like that.
okay, so what happens after that, Mike, in that scene there? Do you recall?
Is this where they see the tracks
Yeah. Yep.
inside
And they're
the
like,
house?
well, they're like, man, that's a hoof. And then Howard goes, man, I hunt a lot of animals and I've never seen a hoof that big.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, they go back outside, and at some point, while they're leaving, they start hearing things and seeing things, and then the uncle gets grabbed in the snow.
Oh man,
Like,
that
it's
was
kind
a
of like reminds you tremor. Something's coming up underneath the ground, and
yeah,
the
you
snow's
can't
going
see
up.
it.
Yep.
Oh, we forgot to mention an important part. The uncle had guns in his car, and
Oh
so
yeah.
he said, oh, and his Hummer got destroyed beyond recognition.
Yep.
So
Can't use that no more.
He did pull the gun. He had a shotgun, and he gave the other guy, Tom, a handgun. And you can tell Tom hasn't shot a lot of guns, but he has some. But obviously not as much as Howard. But yeah, that big thing's coming through the snow, and you can't see it. It grabs a hold of Howard, and he's like, like shaking him around, like like something's got a hold of him. And all of a sudden, Tom shoots that handgun and hits it, whatever it is, hits it. And they get back to the house and they're like, shut the door, but shut the light, or they don't have no lights, but they're like, don't let anything in here, blah, blah, blah. And Howard's leg is tore up, Mike.
Yeah, some of the kids asking what happened. He said, I stepped in a bear trap. And then Max is like, we don't have bears around here.
Yeah, there's no bears around here. But it looked like it, though, didn't it, Mike?
So this thing really took place around Ohio, Columbus, Ohio. So
yeah.
So yeah, they said, yeah, we don't have bears around here.
Right. So yeah, I mean, yeah, the thing grabbed him, and it was really cool. I like the effect. I like the not knowing what it is in the snow.
So one key thing that we haven't mentioned, and it, I mean, again, we ain't careful. We could be on here for 2 hours longer than movie. But the grandmother had made a comment earlier about keeping a fire going in the fireplace.
Yes, keep it hot.
Keep it hot, and so she was like, doing making milk chocolate or getting water and making coffee or chocolate, or whatever. So she was kind of always tending the fire. The rest of the family thought she was just an old lady that was, fascinated with fire. She's going to fall in there and die. But really, she was trying to keep the fire going to try to keep Krampus away. That's
right. The fire keeps Krampus away. So, well, of course, Howard, being a noble, I don't know what, but he says, I'll watch. I'll keep watch. What does he say? Something has to keep watch over his flock. I don't know what the frick he said.
The shepherd has to, and that actually goes back to Christmas and Santa Claus and kind of biblical sayings there in scripture was, he was saying, yeah, the shepherd has to tend his look over his flock.
Oh, and he did a great job of it, Mike. The guy fell asleep right during his watch. Great job, Howard.
Yeah, good job, Howard.
So, of course, he fell asleep, didn't tend to nothing. The fire went out. The guy's a buffoon. And, of course, what happens when the fire goes out, Mike? Here we see a chain come down the fireplace.
Yep.
And it's got one of the gingerbread man on it. And his son, Howard Jr., goes up to it. He's hungry, of course. The guy just never stops eating.
He needs more sugar.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big guy. You're a bigger guy. I mean, this guy just never stops eating, Mike, honestly. So
yeah, but he's like 12, 10.
Yeah. He goes up to this thing. Okay. A mystery cookie comes down the chimney and you just grab it and take a bite of it.
Took the head off.
Yeah.
Part of the head off.
And then all of a sudden it comes alive in his hand, wraps the chain around Howard Jr., starts taking him up the chimney, and everybody's grabbing onto this kid, trying to get him. But nope. Right up the chimney, and the dad, Howard, starts going nuts. He's like, that's my son, blah, blah, blah. And, we didn't mention, every time someone starts disappearing, there's like these sinister snowmen in the front yard being built, right?
Yep.
And they are sinister looking. So, and they're just snowmen. And, but yeah, so he goes up the chimney, and and they're like, "Oh God, we gotta do this." And I think the grandma starts to fire back up again, right?
Yeah, she once he got pulled up, the Christmas tree caught on fire at the same time. They put the
Oh yeah,
Christmas tree out, and then this is where Ami tells the story of when she was a child.
right. She gets the fire going again, and then she tells a story, which is a really good story. I love this part of the movie.
Yep.
It kind of fills everybody in on what's
It's
going
really
on.
great animation right here too.
Oh
Really
yeah,
good
it's like,
animation.
is it like clay
Yeah.
people? Yeah, it's great. So she tells. Do you want to tell a story, Mike? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I've got it kind of, I've kind of got notes right here, but she tells the story of Krampus and that when she was young, almost the whole town quit believing in Santa Claus and lost the spirit of Christmas, but she still believed.
This was
And
like probably in what, the 40s, late 40s, probably.
yeah, it was a long time ago. I mean, she's a real older lady in this movie. I mean, she's probably in her 80s.
Do you think it was after World War II? And that's like Germany?
Probably
like,
so.
They didn't have a lot of stuff, you know?
She was from Bavarian or Austria, and the language they were speaking, it was Austrian. So yeah, Austria and Germany, it's kind of right
like,
there together.
So like they didn't, you know, after the war, those places didn't have a lot. So that's what I was thinking. And like that's why people stopped caring, stopped believing and all that. And you know what I mean?
So she made a comment. She said, she still believed in the joy, having the joy again. And then, but then a lot of them lost and quit giving, kind of gave up and quit sacrificing for one another. So it says no longer a loving family. Their family kind of turned dark. And then finally she gave up too as a kid, and that she wished Santa just to go away, not to ever come back. That's the same thing that Max had said earlier before possibly they went into the snow globe.
Right.
So that year she said Krampus came back and punished and brought his helpers with him, which is what the gingerbread people are. And there's more we're getting ready to talk about. And took all of them to the underworld.
Right.
And then dragged, as a reminder though, as a reminder only, because she didn't believe either at this time, Krampus let her live to be a reminder of, that if you don't believe, he's coming after you.
Right.
So she had always tried to believe, going forward after
and
that.
He gave her a bell that said Krampus on it.
Yep.
And and when she ends a story, they focus and she has it in her hands, the bell.
Yep.
And that is very cool, Mike. I really like that. And she says, I think, I don't know if I wrote the quote down exactly, but she said, Krampus comes when the Christmas spirit dies. And I think the giving and caring is lost or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then they hear something upstairs. Oh, no. The sister, they're trying to make Christmas okay for these kids. So the sister goes upstairs to try to wrap presents, right, for these kids.
Yep.
And she's like shaking the boxes and stuff, and she hears something in the box, but then she doesn't open them. She just leaves them and goes downstairs for whatever reason. And isn't it the daughters that are tomboyish, like they're looking around for they think they hear their
brother.
No, their cousin, the older girl, talking to them upstairs. Yeah. So they go up there, and all of a sudden they hear the adults downstairs hear like yelling and screaming. So the mom, the aunt of these girls, Tony Collette, and I think it's, who is it? Adam Driver, or not Driver, sorry. Adam Scott go up there, who's plays Tom. They go up there, and there's this thing, a big jack-in-a-box. I mean, it looks like almost like a long snake thing, but it's got arms and a mouth, and it looks like a toy. And all you see these feet just going in this mouth. Like, it swallowed one of these girls whole, Mike.
Yep.
And they're like, shoot it. So he shoots at it, and it tries to get away. But then there's these other demonic toys. This one that's like an angel of death attacks the mom, and it is creepy looking, Mike.
Yeah. It's got like the white kid's face mask.
Yeah.
and it's got these like a Christmas owl. It's got these white angel wings, and it flies down and attacks the mother.
Yeah, and then there's this teddy bear with razor sharp teeth and razor sharp claws that attacks the sister-in-law. Oh, I do.
You got the robot. The robot comes out and attacks the dad.
Oh yeah, then the robot comes out. But I did miss something before this. So the dad, Tom, he has a plan. He has like a map, and he's like, we can get from here to here to here if we can get in the snowplow down the road.
Right.
And that's before all this stuff happens, though. And so all these, they're fighting these toys, but they're demonic toys, and they're not like some brittle thing. Howard hears something in the kitchen, so he goes in there, and then he's trying to get his dog. Oh, they have a family dog. We forgot about that. I think Lucy is her name or something, but they have a family dog, and they're like, it's like a English bulldog, and he's like, get in there and help me, and he's like, oh, you coward or something to the dog. It was funny. And he goes in there, and what's in there, Mike? What does Howard have to face?
The gingerbread man. And the gingerbread men are whooping his ass. I mean, they've upstairs, they've had nail guns shot at them, and I mean, everything else. And the gingerbread men are like, horrifying. They're terrifying looking. They're whipping Howard's butt, and then they're getting ready to come kill him. And one of them comes running and they show it in slow motion. I think he may have a knife in his hand or something. He's getting ready to kill him. Then all of a sudden,
candy cane. Yeah,
candy cane. That's it. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, boom, it disappears. And then they look, and the bulldog's sitting there going.
I like that. And he's like, oh, you helped me or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but he did blow one away with a shotgun. That was pretty cool.
That's right. He did.
Yeah. So, and he's doing this, and he's injured too. I mean, he has
one leg.
Yeah, he's a one man. He's a one-legged man at this point, kind of. But yeah, that was a fun scene. Like where they fought all the toys. I love that scene, Mike. I thought that was all well done.
That's when the ant goes Rambo. The ant. I mean, the mother of the children that were taking, and the little boy that was taken, the sister of the main character, Max's mother. She grabs an axe and goes Rambo and starts killing all of them and hitting them and all this kind of stuff. That was pretty cool too, that she came out of her shell.
Well, and then she's seen one of her daughters. I think the daughter's name was Stevie. She's seen her, so they went after her, but then the thing she got her. But then that big jack-in-a-box like worm thing somehow got through the vent system. And so they lost track of that. As I wrote that, yeah, I really liked, I think they were all pretty, I mean, all the toys were, didn't you think they were all practical effects? I mean, maybe some CGI a little bit. I mean, not the gingerbread man were definitely CGI, but I think the rest of the stuff was pretty practical, Mike.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that about the movie, and I think he tried to do that a lot on Trick or Treat as well. I mean, they tried to do a lot of practical, which I think,
the teddy bear and the angel, those actors had to act on a stage set.
Right. Yeah, but I liked it. I thought I wrote here, demon toys equals fun stuff. That's what I wrote. So now they go downstairs after fighting us, and they're like, we're out of here. Like this, we're done. We're leaving. Well, guess what breaks through the front window?
I can't remember which one it was, if it was Krampus himself, or I know Krampus and all his helpers come through the front door, eventually come through the house.
All of a sudden you see the chimney start cracking like you saw in the house before. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden his elves bust through. The teddy bear, I think, comes back, and the aunt Dorothy shoots it with a shotgun, I think. And then all these elves come out, and they wrap her with that tinfoil. And I didn't notice this while watching the movie, but I watched another review, and they commented on this, and I said, that is quite silly. When they yank Dorothy out, they go, whoop! They make that noise, like, why? Yep. I don't know.
Aunt Dorothy made some little, slide remarks as she was going out, which I thought was pretty cool.
She said, see you all in hell.
Yep.
I thought that was funny. So, and then she gets yanked out, and they use that slide whistle. It's like, whoop! when she goes out the window. And then they take the baby. The elves take the baby. And trying to think. So then and then Howard jumps on that Jack in the Box thing, and they yank that out. So Howard's gone now. So in just that quick second, you have the aunt, Howard, and the baby all gone. Like they're gone in less than 5 minutes. Okay. So yeah, so they in 5 minutes you lose Howard, Dorothy, and the baby out the front window. And they're all leaving, and the grandma goes, "Nope, and the grandma's supposed to go with them, and she tells Max, "Nope, I need to face Krampus now. I need to do this. This is my destiny," basically, you know. So she stays back. Krampus gets right in her face, and you don't know what happens, but obviously he takes her.
Yep.
I mean, obviously. So you have the dad, Tom, Sarah, the mom, you have the sister-in-law, and then you have Max and Stevie. Those are the 5 that are left out of this group. And they're running for the snowplow, right, Mike?
Right.
So this is the part of the movie where I'm like, wait, this is kind of like a weird thing. They all just get taken by that snow monster underneath the snow. Like, I don't know. Like, I watched other reviews. I know you did too. And they said, like, this part of the movie didn't make sense. Like, they ran out of time and they had to, like, just get rid of as many people as they could. And, like,
but like the dad went first. He also tried to stay behind and protect them.
Right. He went first. The sister-in-law went next. And then the mom, Sarah, went next. And then the 2 kids are in a snowmobile trying to start it up. It's not going. Well, here comes the dark elves. They take the girl. But the thing I didn't notice is he like hits or something, one of the dark elves on the ground, and that thing comes up and takes a dark elf.
Yep.
Too. It like wasn't picky. It took one of them too.
Yep.
So, and then he is like, well, screw this. I'm not going to leave my cousin Stevie behind. So he goes after him. But yeah, that was, I mean, because listen, you lose Dorothy, the baby, Howard, the grandma, and then Tom, Sarah, the sister-in-law, like within like 10 minutes, right, Mike?
Yeah. The first hour and 15 minutes of the movie, then all of a sudden they start losing them all.
Yeah, like very fast. And I mean, I tend to agree. Maybe they did lose. Maybe they ran out of time or like, well, we got to fit these in now. So, but, so he goes and all of a sudden you see he's walking up on like a ceremony of things. You got Krampus there. You got all of his dark elves there. And they have like basically like a pit to a different dimension or wherever he's taking these people. And it's up out of the earth. The whole earth like, come up. And do they throw? He was like, no, or whatever. And he had like a weapon in his hand. And he was like going to go after Krampus or whatever. And Krampus comes over to him and gets like right in his face, right? Yeah. They don't throw Stevie in yet. They have her captive. And he dropped something on the ground, Mike. Do you remember what that was? Krampus does.
Was it? Oh, it was well, the kid yells at Krampus saying, "Hey, I take back my wish."
Right.
And then Krampus is all up in his face, and then he drops the letter. Yep. The letter, right. the paper of the letter, and the bell is on the inside of it.
Right. The bell that his grandmother had.
Right.
So he knows, well, he got my grandmother, right. And this letter is the reason for all of this. I am the right. cause of all of this is because of me.
I don't believe in Christmas anymore.
Right. It's because of him.
He was the last one to believe in the family.
Right. So
it's pretty heartfelt. He's crying, and then Krampus reaches up there with his little looking little claw thing. And like takes the tear underneath his eye and he looks at it. And then you're thinking the whole time,
like, what?
Man, he's going to, all of a sudden everything's going to be kumbaya again.
Yep. Yes. Like Krampus had a change of heart.
Nope.
They throw Stevie in the pit.
They throw Stevie in and he freaks out and he, and I can't remember what, does Krampus grab him and throw him in there too, right?
Yeah.
They just kind of cut the way to his bedroom.
and you see him falling backwards. He's like, ah, and then all of a sudden he wakes up in bed.
Yep.
And you're like, what? And he goes down. He looks out the window. He sees all the snow.
You think the whole thing has kind of just been a dream the whole time,
right? You see all the snow. He goes downstairs. All of his family's there. Everybody. It's a totally different.
They're all in nice pajamas and they're all having a good time and they're drinking their coffee and.
Yep. And he was like, yeah. And he was like, whoa. And then he's like talking to his parents and they're like, oh, what's wrong? And he's like, nothing. This is great or whatever. Like, basically, if you notice, it's how Christmas used to be. I think that's what this is. So they're handing out gifts, having fun. His grandma like brings hot chocolate. You know, they're all there, and he opens up this gift, and in the box is the Krampus bell. And he pulls it out, and he's looking at it, and the dad and the mom look at it, and they're like, and it clicks in their head like, what? Huh?
They're like, what?
Yeah, they're like, no, it like clicks in their head like, what are we doing here? Like, I think they start to remember what happened. Like, that's what I think. Like, they all like are like, wait, all that happened to us. How did we end up here? Like, they all kind of like didn't remember that.
The whole family turns each one of them one at a time turns they like panned it to Howard and the different family members, and they're all looking at him with that bell in his hand now.
And I think at that moment, they're all remembering what happened previously. And so they're like, whoa. And then all of a sudden you see it pans outside and it's snowing. And then all of a sudden you see it's in a snow globe. Krampus puts it on a shelf where he has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of these snow globes. And these people are trapped there for an eternity, Mike.
So you think every time Krampus gets it out and shakes it up, the whole story goes all over again?
Yeah, possibly, or they're they're doomed to relive the Christmas the way that he remembers forever, because that's what he wanted.
But they're non-believers. They're non-believers. They don't believe in the spirit of Christmas anymore.
Well, and like he wanted Christmas like it used to be. And that's what he's going to get for the rest of his life, for the rest of eternity or however long or whatever. Wow. So, and I think Krampus can, like you said, I mean, maybe he can make it, you know, so he can go in there and manipulate and do different things like he did in this one. Who knows? Who knows, Mike? I don't know. I mean, obviously Krampus has been doing this for a long time. So I don't know, Mike, what's your overall feeling about this movie?
I love it. I think you hit it on the head. I think a lot of it is just it's trying to tell a modern story to the classic movies of like Rudolph and all these White Christmas movies and all these you know movies that are classic icons. It's just doing a newer spin on it. I do think this movie is PG-13, so it's not a lot of blood and guts and stuff like that.
Not a lot of language either.
And it's a I think you kind of mentioned this too, but it's classified as a horror, but it's also classified as a comedy. So it's kind of a dark comedy, but it's got horror aspects to it, especially with Krampus.
Right.
And I think the overall is trying to do a modern tale of what's the true meaning behind Christmas.
That's right.
And if you don't believe in it, if you don't believe in Santa Claus or you don't believe anymore, then I think at some part of this, they called Krampus the dark or the shadow of Santa Claus.
Right. He's the shadow. Yes.
He's the shadow.
He goes along.
He's the dark side of Santa Claus.
Right. He is part of Christmas.
Right.
Like he's just as part of Christmas as Santa Claus is part of Christmas.
You got some that's going to believe and you got some that don't believe. And those that don't believe end up going into Krampus's world.
Right. I really and you let the things of Christmas get a hold of you. Like I said at the beginning, I felt like greed was part of that with the shopping and stuff. You let like stuff like that, or you let, like just different things about Christmas get a hold of you. That's not really the true meaning of Christmas. So,
right.
And that's what it is. And like I said, I think I wrote down what the grandma said, Krampus comes when the Christmas spirit dies and giving and whatever is lost. So, So that's it. But
So how are we going to get rate this thing? We're going to do snow globes on this one, maybe?
Yeah, snow globes.
I think it's snow globe. So usually you give yours first, and I'll follow up. I'm going to give mine first this time, so we can see what. Because usually I'm right on what you do, but let's see if I would say 3 is average to me. To me, I think this movie is above average. I would say in the horror realm of Christmas movies, it's up there for me. I really like it. Even though it's PG-13, and most of the time I don't like PG-13 movies. I like blood and guts and slashers and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
I'm going to give this one probably a 3.75 to 4. I really like it.
Okay,
It's not perfect, but I think it's really good.
I'm giving it a 4 snow globes out of 5. Now, it's not, it's not a 5 out of 5 like Trick or Treat was to me. And that Trick or Treat means a lot to Halloween, in my opinion. It is great. One of the best Halloween movies there is for the holiday. This one is very good for Christmas, actually. I mean, it goes along with different things with Christmas, but just not in the way of, warm, bubbly things for Christmas, good feeling. It's the other side of Christmas that happens as well with, everything that we talked about. So I think this is a really good Christmas movie, and I'm giving it 4 out of 5 snow globes, Mike.
We do want to warn people, even though it's PG-13, if you have kids that are in that 10 to 12 year range of age, and they still believe in, the Santa Claus, they don't want to watch. They don't need to see this movie.
Yeah, because it's going to say straight out Santa Claus.
It's going to say straight out in the movie that Santa Claus does not exist. But if you don't believe in Christmas and Santa Claus, then Krampus is going to come get you.
Right.
And that may terrify some kids.
So actually, in theory, this movie is saying that Santa Claus is real, Mike.
Right.
Because Krampus is real.
Right.
That's right. So
yeah.
Okay, Mike, I think that's good, man. I think we'll talk more in the facts section in a different video. So go ahead and check that out. And hey, our next movie we are reviewing for the holiday season is a classic, and I love it. And I don't know how much of a horror movie it really is, but it's kind of along the lines of this one, where it's not a true horror movie, but it is considered horror. Gremlins.
Yes, that's been a while since I've seen that one, so I can't wait to watch it. Please like, comment, and subscribe on this movie, and then be looking for our fun facts or whatever kind of facts you want to say about Krampus a couple of days after this one comes out. So watch that as well. Y'all guys have a good one and have a good Christmas. Thanks.
Yep. Merry Christmas. Bye.
Bye.